2. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Actuali Podcast. It's our weekly live stream series, meaning Making 101, where we try to make sense of this world together. See if we can't be that change we wish to see and change this world from the inside out. I'm Chris.
I'm DJ.
And tonight we're going to continue our coverage of Dad Saves America's newly released 6-part documentary, The Death of Debate. We are on to part 3 now. If you guys are just jumping in, that's totally fine. There will be something here for you regardless. But we absolutely encourage you to check out Dad Saves America's channel. Give him some likes and subscribes if you appreciate what is happening here. What is up, Ninja Bat in the house? Yes, sir. We are live.
Ninja Bat, you were on time, but man, we were like
What's
really
up, buddies?
struggling to get on time.
Yeah. We made it. Somehow made it though, man.
No, but I'm not bald anymore. I'm about to go back to bald because it's better than this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're gonna just go all the way.
Yeah. Well, the fuzz helps keep the hat on. You know.
It does. No, I like a little bit of fuzz, man. I go down to a 2 or no 3. I go down to a 3.
You know, I got to
When I
look
buzz
like
myself.
I'm one of those blue collar guys when I'm talking to clients and stuff. You know, so they don't trust you if you're too clean.
You know, he found a balance.
Oh yeah, I went from like super duper hippie to
Easily mistaken for a hippie. Yeah.
Like what a
I mean, you
what
had
a
musicians look
what
to you.
what a hippie should be.
Right.
to-
Freezing dumps, dude. Yeah, definitely wear your winter hats this time of year if
Oh,
you got
dude.
hair like us.
Yeah, I picked the wrong time to cut off my hair. I can tell you that.
Yeah. How do you fare through the storm, Ninja Bat? It's been wild out there, man. Here in the streets of Martinsburg.
Hopefully you kept that boiler running.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, fam.
So here we are.
Dad Saves America, man. He's doing really, really good work out there. If you guys are not familiar with this gentleman, definitely look him up on YouTube. This series is excellent, very well done. It's like 2 years in the making, and here it is. Oh yeah, you got to have the crusty beard this time of year too. I can't grow very much out with my Irish genetics. I can kind of get this kind of thing going, but
You know it's cold though when
my
like you
face
go
stays
out
cold.
and you pump your gas and you can feel the moisture like building up on your mustache and your beard. Like, yeah, you still have enough to feel it, and it's just like okay.
I keep it short nowadays too. I don't grow it out like I used to. Yeah.
I gotta hide my upper lip.
Well, fam, we're glad that y'all are here with us tonight because this is one of the most troubling stories I've seen in a long time. And there's so much going on in the world right now, but if we can get to the root and figure out how do we treat the root, we might be able to start ameliorate some of the conditions, some of the issues that we're seeing. So, I think Dad Saves America is doing extraordinary work in that regard. Here we are, fam. I think we're just going to jump right back into it and get going. Where we left off was the end of episode 2, and very much covering Greek philosophy and the sophists. And now you're going to get into the debate that changed history. One night, one debate, quite monumentally affected the history of this country and the world. So here we go, guys. It's Dad Saves America, the death of debate. Let's roll.
Hey there, friends, fans, and foes of Dad Saves America. John Popola here, and welcome
John.
back to
What's up,
this,
John?
our 3rd episode in our 6-part special documentary series called The Death of Debate. We are exploring what has happened to debate in America, but especially what has happened with our kids in high school. Their first encounters with debating ideas, with the National Speech and Debate Association clubs that end up being the first stop for some of the future leaders of our country. And believe me, there are reasons to be worried about what this first stop has become. This week, we are exploring American history, the debates that shaped our nation, the presidential debates that changed the course of history at key moments throughout the past 250 years. And of course, that fateful debate in 2024 that changed the course of our politics profoundly. It was probably the most incredible debate any of us have ever seen with our own 2 eyes. Now, let's dig back in to the death of debate.
Here we go. Oh yeah, I know what this debate's going to be. It's pretty sure it's going to be Trump versus HRC debate.
This is a pivotal moment between President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump in their rematch for the nation's highest office.
He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards.
I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. You think you can do it?
You think you could do it?
Who could possibly forget this night?
I was having the same thoughts that people all over America, Democrat, Republican, and everyone in between was having. Oh, this is so painfully bad. And then it gets worse. And you go, oh my God, I can barely hear him.
It showed the person who was our president was not fit for the job.
Oh my God, there's no way he can be president again. I'm not sure he can be president right now.
He wasn't. Don't worry about it.
If anyone tries to tell you that debate isn't important,
Yeah, let's take a quick pause because I'm curious, Ninja Bet or anyone else that's viewing, how many people out there do you know that still thought Biden was actually coherent during his presidency?
Well,
What's up on Rumble?
So I don't know if it's a matter of like you thought he was coherent or not. Did you pay attention or didn't you?
Well,
So
fair.
the people who didn't, it's like I thought he was, competent and coherent. You didn't think. You were told that he was.
And of course, you wanted to assume that that was correct from sources that you're used to trusting. And of course, also, you don't want to believe that this guy's losing himself during the
Okay,
presidency
you're
that you
being-
voted for. So,
You're
okay.
being really nice about this. It's laziness. Were you lazy
Mental
about
laziness,
it, or
yeah.
did you pay attention to it, or
I
were you
am
slothful?
trying to be as fair as
I-
possible because
He's nicer than I am.
I mean, it's hearts and minds.
I feel you.
I pray and hope, and I know that there's a lot of people that cannot be reached at all anymore. But I do pray and hope that we can at least reach some of these people that are kind of on the sidelines, maybe not invested, but going along. Who could still pay a little bit more attention and be able to quite clearly see through what's happening.
Yeah.
Because we ourselves, we're looking at things that are discomforting. Of course, but we're willing to even disprove those things that we would like to believe. And that's a really hard wall to get over. But if you're really interested in the truth and you want to find out what's going to be best, what's going to be good for one and all, this is the route that we have to take. But I do appreciate and understand your impatience because I've seen the arguments, and I think that to a point they're relevant that we should really be firmly calling out people falling for this stuff at this point.
Well, and even beyond that too, it's like I say these things that seem impatient, like being like, no, they're just being lazy. It's also humor, because there are times where we catch ourselves, and I know through like my quest of going from like actual like super lefty liberal hippie type into where I am now. Yeah, I was just like, no, trust it's fine. Pick up the newspaper. You see all the little like. So for those of you who don't know how a newspaper was structured, you'd have the main stuff, and then you'd have little things down the sides that were little like
sidebars, basically.
Your little sidebars, right? And they'd always have AP and AP and AP, and I'm like, who the hell is this AP?
Associated Press?
Yeah, well, yes, it was the Associated Press, and it would just be like the same recycled nonsense that. And then you'd start to see this, the sources according to the AP, and then you're like, AP. This thing on my little sideline that's irritating the crap out of me.
AP and Reuters, a little interesting part of history, 20 plus years ago, they used to be actually somewhat reliable news wires. They were just investigative reporters going out getting the stories, or let's say they were the investigators. The reporters, the ones on TV and writing the articles, and oftentimes are going to be publishers. And so Reuters and AP used to be somewhat reliable sources of information. You could just go straight to the news wire before the big publishers published and presented it. But everything got taken. BBC, which used to be somewhat reliable and actually put out a great documentary years ago called The Century of Self, that definitely got co-opted along with the rest of them. Even Democracy Now!, which used to be somewhat reliable, has just gone full ideological. It's a shame.
Well,
because, I'm 20 plus years of definitely leaning in a direction that people would typically identify as liberal, even progressive. Still had some libertarian, sensibilities to me. But I mean, if I can see through this after 20 years of being a very avid researcher of politics, I think anyone else can as well. I know
Yeah,
you guys
but-
can come back home.
Lazy bones.
Yeah, we're
So
too easily.
anyway, we went really far into the
Yeah,
Biden and
yeah.
the things. The death of the debate. You remember the debate? Did you guys watch the debate between Trump and Biden? And then they were trying to hold it off.
That's
and then
right,
it
they
happened,
were.
and they're like,
Remember?
no more. We're
Yeah.
putting Kamala in. You don't even get to vote for her. And
That's
like,
right. Yeah, it only took this
Yeah, oh,
debate
so-
for that to happen.
When's the last time you remember a president not being primaried? Like, if they wanted to replace him.
Never. Well, even the Democrats didn't get to vote on her.
That's
She was just
exactly
a
what I
shoo-in.
mean.
Yeah.
Did that ever
Well,
happen?
the last time, when she was running against Biden, or not the last time, but when she was running against Biden for the presidency during the primaries, she was the least favorable candidate.
Oh, yeah. No, the first time
And somehow
ran
she gets
against
pushed
Biden.
all the way up is so odd. Yeah,
Well, but that's because, well,
odd. Yeah, wasn't really odd if you
Yeah.
know what's happening. All right, guys, let's jump back in here. Here we go. It's
Yeah,
the death of debate, part 3.
Remind them about this debate.
remind them.
Look,
Here, jump back
if-
real quick.
wait, fine. Look, if
Now, even further.
If anyone tries to tell you
Okay.
that debate isn't important, remind them about this debate.
look, if we finally beat Medicare,
Tens of millions watched
Yeah, you beat
as
it
the
to death.
president
Medic-
of the United States imploded on live TV.
I've never heard so much malarkey in my whole life.
It was absolutely the most
No loss.
consequential televised presidential debate in history.
What you saw was a debate that led to the withdrawal of a presidential candidate and the president of the country, Biden. So for a lot of people that thought debate doesn't rate, debate doesn't matter, debate doesn't change any minds, debate isn't going to influence the outcome of the election, they saw a very different result from that debate. And in fact, that debate changed the course of the election, changed the course of history.
Granted, this is a very extreme example, but debate is woven into the fabric of America. And that's exactly why it was so troubling to me when I read the article alleging that radical critical theory ideology had taken over high school debate. Could it really be that a club known for young academics and nerdy kids had been taken over by Marxist race-hustling extremists?
Yes, actually, yes.
Yeah, and these are the future leaders of America, so this is bad. This is
Well,
a rude attack.
Even beyond that,
And we keep hacking at limbs.
pretty much every communist revolution started, or at least had a good foothold with the academic students
And
because
the youth, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, oh yeah. Like if you look like Mao's China, like who was the Red Guard?
Yeah.
The Red Guard were the youth, and then like who were the people that lasted after the so who went? So the Red Guard was groomed, and then who are the people that came up right after the Red Guard? Well, they were getting the passes to go into university and learn the things they need to do while the Red Guard were being, killed off because,
Oh, it always eats itself.
well,
Yeah,
and what was it? Marx, I believe it was Marx. Is like by necessity, the left wing becomes the right wing after the revolution.
Yeah.
And you need to deal with them
Yeah.
because they're going to fight to keep their own way, just like every generation does.
Mm-hmm.
But they target the intellectuals, right?
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
They
no,
go after
so
the
I-
artists, the intellectuals. Yeah.
yeah, like when when I watched this series the first time, I was like, yeah, no, I wasn't surprised to see it happen because like my generation, we grew up seeing, like our student teachers that were coming to teach us, and then when we get old enough, like to our peers that are going to college for all this stuff, and the the older people you see at the bar, they were all spouting that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you like, and I used to spout some of it. I still believe to a certain degree, like so the two each according to their needs is more like, hey, in life you take what you need to,
Yeah.
and like you really need to, right? And then from each according to their abilities, well, do what you can,
Do what
but
you can.
really only what you can, and don't confuse the two, right?
Yeah. Well,
And then the
Yeah,
thing that
yeah.
Marx didn't put in there was you are going to be held responsible for the outcomes of your actions.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. It's always going to be somebody else in communism,
Oh, yeah.
There's always somebody to blame.
Yep. Yeah. And I never thought that the corruption, when I was younger, during the George Bush Jr. and Dick Cheney administration, the neocons were definitely up to some crap. And, you know, I was afraid of fascism coming from the right. I never could have suspected the communism coming from the left
Not
to this degree, and until now. And now it's like, you know, blatantly obvious that it's been happening for a long time. But you know, that trickle effect, man.
And not just communism, but the fascism coming from the left too.
Yeah.
You know, with all this anti-ICE stuff, you know,
Well,
they have a network and they're stopping people and asking for papers. And this is the leftist protesters.
No one's stopping them from doing this either. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Of course.
And they're putting up, you know,
there's people
roadblocks
trying
and
to stop
check
them,
marks.
but anyway, but yeah.
There's a lot that we could go into. It's been
So
happening
yes,
this past week alone.
we saw this coming. So, Mr. Dad Saves America, you may have been surprised.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, because he grew up in another generation, man.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but at least he's being honest and
Yeah. And he's doing a great job of, I think, reaching a lot of people that weren't ready for this too. Because his style of presentation is great. He's comes across as a very fair-minded person. So
yeah,
let's let him keep on. Let's go, brother. Here we
It wasn't
are.
just another culture war issue. It wasn't a story about Cracker Barrel's logo or Sydney Sweeney's jeans. Speech and debate goes to the very foundation of what it means to be American, what it means to be human. And this idea seeping into our culture that words can be violence was toxic and dangerous.
What we began to see in 2014 is
catch that?
And danger into our culture that words can be violence was toxic and dangerous.
What we began to see in 2014 is the arrival of a kind of a new moral matrix that is a new sort of moral worldview in which students are fragile, the world is dangerous, words and books and ideas can be a kind of violence. Take the phrase, "Sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never harm me." I've asked kids today whether they've heard that, and many have never heard it.
Yeah,
in fact, in some cases, it is said to be a microaggression. That is, you're not supposed to say it, because if you say that, you are denying the pain that words have caused to other kids.
You know what? I remember distinctly, this is actually a formative memory of mine from preschool. I can actually remember the layout of the preschool a little bit when I remember this memory, because it's a strong one. They taught us that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me was the way we said it. And that was empowering. That was actually empowering for me as a child. I grew up with that in mind.
Yeah. You know,
and of course, yes, words can emotionally hurt you. Words emotionally can affect you, but that doesn't mean that they're physically affecting you. And you actually have a choice in how you emotionally respond. And once you learn that ability, you don't have to let people control your own emotional state. You don't have to give people permission to have effect over your own emotionality. You can actually choose how you feel and respond to any situation. You can choose to be happy and laugh off insults rather than take them personally. Of course, we're not teaching that to kids anymore. But it starts with a very simple.
Do you know what the partner rhyme to this rhyme is? I'm rubber, you're glue.
Oh yeah.
What you say to me bounces off of me and stick to you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that.
Those go together. But,
yeah, you're just talking crap because you are crappy within yourself right now.
But and
I like that.
Yeah, and also you know, like these are formative thoughts for children.
Mm-hmm.
And by formative, we mean like what forms them from
and it
life.
helps them learn to manage situations themselves instead of having to call authority every single time there's an insult.
Or become emotional.
They're going to be adults one day.
And then get into the same cycle. Yeah. It's like, you're a butthead. Well, you're a doo-doo face. Well, you're a no good liar dog, dog mother. Well, your dog is a...
It's no wonder so many adults nowadays have the emotional composure of children.
Well, sure. Like, you know, I'm like the first generation to go through junior high into high school with No Child Left Behind and that control mechanism that got into school.
Right.
And then by the time like I got to the end of high school was when real teachers were the people that were like my student teachers and other people that would put this ideology on you. And there is no debate with your teacher unless you're in a debate class, and there's still no debate with your teacher. Right.
Right.
So they could behave and it's not like they weren't at the pedagogic state, right? They weren't like teaching this stuff yet, but they were informed by it. So they were creating a system to teach this stuff. And it had,
and you're talking about like weaponized Marxism,
Marxism, you know, intersectionality, you know, whatever we whatever we put on the
The
umbrella
DEI
of woke,
stuff, all of that. Yeah.
you know, whatever you want to call woke, you know, as far as what you want to stick in there.
And guys, bear in mind that the people we're showing you, like John of Dad Saves America, Jonathan Haidt, who will be back on the screen in just a moment. These guys are like lifelong liberals themselves that have seen through what's happening. So this is not just an ideological thing where if you're on the right, this is what you think of the left. No, there's a hell of a lot of independents, center, left people, moderate people, libertarians, and so forth that are also seeing the ratcheting up of real violence on the left, the extremism of the left increasing, and actually outpacing what we've seen from the right in the past.
Yeah. So,
and it's heartbreaking to see.
To the whole,
we got to be able to call out our own sides.
To the whole sticks and stones may break my bones thing.
Yeah.
Ninja Bat has a good one. So comment from the movie Roadhouse, and I'm gonna have to censor this because of YouTube. So quote, what if they call my mom a lady of the night? Well,
WHO.
Well, yeah. Well, is she? Well, there you go. When people say the nasty stuff about you, and this happens so what this series that Dad Saves America is doing is,
well, is she
like in the formal debate space, but then there's a debate space below that,
yes,
which is how those who find fun and entertainment, and that sounds bad, enrichment through debate and dialogue with people. That's where we exist. These same things are happening at that level too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's happening at both levels at the same time. And I don't know which came from which, because like you could say that, like, you know, the high-end academic level of debate came from the lower level of debate. Or you could say, well, what we've learned from the lower level debate is mimicking the higher level.
I think it's both.
So,
It's a reciprocal relation. They're informing one another.
But we're kind of screwed on both ends with this, and we got to be really careful with it.
Yeah, we do.
Because sometimes we do debate our friends, and it's fine, even if it's just like, you know, me and you have had like plenty of times where it's like, you know, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know about that word. So are we talking about the same? Really get into it, and it's a debate just to convince either one of us.
We've shifted easily into a place to where we're not taking each other's opinions personally.
Even when it's like,
it actually does feel like I'm thinking through something with somebody else. So we're putting our minds together.
No,
and I think that's the approach.
Imagine that.
You know,
imagine
it's going to be a little bit of tension here and there, but it's nothing personal.
Well, yeah. But imagine the opposite of that, where it's, you know, you're just trying to throw facts really quick at somebody, and, you know, like, here's how it is, and I saw this thing, and I got this thing for you.
I remember doing that in the past. I've done this.
I still do it to myself. Like when I'm, you know, you replay the debates you've had in your head, and you fucking catch yourself doing that, and you're like,
yeah.
So it's an infectious parasite. What has killed debate is an infectious parasite.
Very prevalent in our day and age, and we've all been conditioned by it because we've all taken in this media. So here we are. Let's jump back in. Let's go ahead and see how far we can get through this episode today.
So this has gone out of favor because the new idea is sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will cut me for life.
Oh, yeah.
This idea that we have to watch what we say, that certain ideas shouldn't be debated at all, or that certain people, because of their identity alone, aren't capable of hearing, let alone making certain arguments. If the worst versions of that woke mind virus were spreading in high school debate clubs, I had to find out if that was true. So I went to the man who wrote those original articles, James Fishback, and he agreed to come on the record.
High school debate that I knew, that I loved, that I cherished, that changed my life has now fallen to an ideology where it's less about thinking, less about questioning, and more about conforming and appealing to the judge before you.
Just like in his articles, Fishback started lobbing bombs at the country's largest high school debate league, the NSDA.
The way to think about it is that in debate, there's really only two sides now. There's the moderate left and there's the far left. And that's the range of arguments you can make. Just those two.
I had to see all this with my own eyes. So I did what anyone would do. I asked for an interview with the NSDA and applied for a media pass to go to their national championship. My team did their due diligence and tried to make contact with the organizers as well. And then we waited and waited and waited.
Ignored them.
We would keep trying, but At least at first, they ignored us, which was interesting, and the polar opposite, frankly, of Fishback, who answered right away.
But more than anything, don't jump from A to F. Go to A, B, C, D. Let's walk through that.
I'm going to turn this up just a little bit, speed of this up just a little bit, guys, to make sure we get through this episode.
Yeah, we're probably not getting through the episode.
We
but
might
we'll
not.
try.
This is a little bit of a longer one, but let's try 120 and see if this is too fast. If it is for anybody, please let us know. Let's go. I'm going to give them a little rewind here now.
But more than anything, don't jump from A to F. Go to A, B, C, D. Let's walk through that, Rodrigo.
Yeah, keep your
let's talk
argument
about-
coherent.
Maybe he wanted
all the way
publicity. Maybe he was a genuine guy. Only time would tell. Whatever the reason, he cooperated all through the making of this series and eventually invited me to be a judge at his tournament, Incubate Debate.
From Emergent Order, John Popola.
This was great news. I'd finally actually get to see all of this up close and from behind the scenes.
This is my first time judging at Incubate, and it really is inspiring how much you're able to dance together with this and not get upset. And the civility is very inspiring.
It's not an exaggeration to say that as a judge at Incubate, I might be rubbing shoulders with future congressmen, future Supreme Court justices, maybe a future president.
1/3 of members of Congress today did high school or college debate. Half of our Supreme Court, lawyers, doctors, politicians, all over the country participated in this activity.
The very creation of our country 250 years ago, this coming July, was itself a debate and a battle over the principles of free speech and open dialogue.
A lot of work got done in what would be considered committee meetings today, but at the time were people drinking in taverns.
Delaying now will cost us everything.
Yeah,
we used to, real quick,
pause this.
We used to be able to talk and actually have political debates in our taverns
Well,
and our bars.
now we have
that was normal. That was appropriate.
We have the stupid rule of, well, at the bar, no politics or religion.
What? Because we can't be civil enough to have a civil discussion about.
Well, but it's okay to get in a fist fight over your favorite stupid fucking team. Sorry.
Yeah.
Of whatever sports ball team that you're part of, but you can't talk about the things that actually matter. And I'm not crapping on the people that like sports ball. I get it. Sports are great. It, like peak human prowess. But like politics and religion are the two things that you should be able to talk to.
Well, that's going to
even
affect
when
our
you're
lives more than anything.
Well, even when you're in your most vulnerable state, which
and
is
a democratic
inebriated at the
republic
bar.
doesn't work. A democratic republic just doesn't work if the people are not well informed and having these kinds of dialogues, these kinds of debates to figure these things out together. This is a system of self-governance, fam. If we don't have anywhere that we can talk about politics, we are screwed. Some nefarious force is going to take over, as we are seeing happen right now.
So Ninja Bat had a question here I want to address right now. Isn't debate supposed to be emotionless and just facts? No, debate can have emotion and you can show your passions, but your argument has to be based off the facts, not emotional appeals. So yes and no, but yeah, like, cause like a really good like debater should be able to draw you in and like bring you through the full range of your emotions.
But you can't prove his point with an appeal to emotion.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, don't you care about the poor people?
He can just make that fact resonate more powerfully, maybe.
Yeah, and well, and also if you've got a good point, you will get emotional. Maybe not like, hysterical, but emotional.
But yeah, the person that is the calmest in the debate does normally come off as the one that seems the most self-assured, the most well-studied, that knows their evidence better. You often see that too, and that's a powerful debate tactic to be able to stay calm.
You can be calm and show emotion.
But you can still show
at the
emotion.
same time.
You can to agree, yeah, for sure.
Humans were very expressive.
When did it start
forms.
that don't talk about religions and politics? Ninja Bet asks. That's a really good question.
I don't know. I'm almost 37.
Slowly but surely, it's been happening as long as I've been growing up, I think.
Yeah, just keep the peace. I think it probably started with like, okay, don't do it at like family gatherings. It probably started.
It feels like the last 20, 30 years at least.
It actually probably started when people stopped living and dying in the same areas and raising families in the same areas.
Yeah.
So they had to spread out. They get different beliefs, and then when they had to come back, and then when we had to come back for like family gatherings and other stuff, that
all
would
of a sudden we think we're enemies because we don't understand each other's points of view as well.
And then it probably came from like the kitchen and like mom and the aunties and the grandma and the sisters in the kitchen being like, y'all need to shut up in there. Like dinner's not even served. You're causing problems because they all have these ideas. Because
It's an
one's in New
interesting
York,
theory.
one's in San Francisco,
And
one's
we
in the
became
middle of the
increasingly
country.
spread out, so we
Yeah.
weren't able to have, as many conversations of this kind and get used to having those conversations and disagreeing with one another a little bit without taking such offense that we other the person and dehumanize them and make them our enemy in our minds.
Well, yeah, and it's almost like that spread out was like the first social media, right? Where it's like, and I'm gonna say it like this: it's like the first social media in the sense of on social media, you can say stuff to people and you won't have to deal with them the next day. Whereas like back when you lived, raised a family, and died like in the same small geographical area. You got to see that same guy that you just argued about the hedgerows and how to deal with the hedgerows because they're doing this, that, or the other. You had to see him the next day.
Yeah, you might have
And
had
to
an
deal with him.
intense debate the night before, but then you end up doing something kind for each other or just being around each other again,
Well,
remembering the humanity
what
of one
I'm really
another the
getting
next
at
day.
is actually the accountability.
Well, the accountability for sure.
So what has happened?
I see where you're going there.
Like as in like you got to deal with this other person, so you also have to work with them too. And within a debate, it's not just one debater versus the other. It's
You
one
depend upon one
well,
another.
it's one debater versus the other to then interact with a group of people and change their minds.
Yeah.
But then ultimately you have to go back into that group of people if it's a tight community.
Taking that away from us,
then
caused us to become more and more alienated from one another.
And then that's probably where the root of don't talk about religion or politics.
It's got to be a
at the
big
dinner
part of it, man.
table
'Cause
or
This is
at
a
the
weird
bar
cultural
or-
shift
Yeah.
for us as a country to be acting this way. As long as I feel like I've been alive, we've been acting this way about politics, and that was not our history prior to this modern age. We did have quite intense debates constantly.
Yeah,
because that's how you collaborate to calibrate. Let's call it that. Collaborate to calibrate. How are we going to calibrate together as a people to run this country together? It is a system of self-governance. At least that's the intention. How do we pull that off if we cannot collaborate? So here we are, and we got to drop our friggin' egos and really steel ourselves for these kinds of conversations and be willing to have them. And it's going to be hard, and you're going to be cut off by some people, but just keep on coming from good faith so people know that your heart is coming from a good place. We might be orienting our values from different directions, but we can still figure this thing out together. And I really like Ninja Bet. I see you still dropping down awesome points here. The moderator complicit in the Biden-Trump debate. I agree, man. I agree.
Well, but
they were.
The Trump versus Clinton debate or the Trump
Same
versus
deal.
anybody else.
They always
debate.
control these
It's-
debates.
It's the same freaking thing.
Yeah. Well, they are controlled, co-jointly owned. The debates are co-jointly owned by the Republican and Democratic parties, and they effectively squeeze out any third-party voices. And then, of course, if they don't, like the Republicans did not want Trump, the rhinos, the neocons did not want Trump, so even they are trying to keep him out as well. And hey, this is not saying that I'm a huge fan of Trump. I have some issues with things going on right now, as I'm sure many of you guys do, if we're being honest with ourselves and with the world. But I still think it's better than the alternative.
Well,
surprisingly,
and I
really like
the establishment
this administration that he pulled together.
The establishment rhino Republicans didn't like Trump.
But this is the most universal administration we've ever seen, where you got people from all different political persuasions as a part of the administration, like RFK and Tulsi.
So the establishment Republican rhinos did not like Trump.
Yeah.
But the establishment Democrats didn't like Bernie or Trump.
No.
So then we got stuck with Hillary
or Tulsi
versus Trump. And I can't think of anybody else that is more polarizing and not polarizing, but like everybody hated Hillary, dude. That's how we got Trump the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, she was not a very likable candidate, and she does not come across as a genuine person. She comes off as an act. She comes off as phony, if we're being honest, right? The same thing with Kamala.
Comes off as freaking evil,
really
dude.
Plastic,
Kamala's just a drunk that did.
Yeah, I feel
fishy
that.
things
I
to get
feel
into
some
office.
evil coming off that one too. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Oh no, yeah, definitely an evil drunk, but a drunk. Hillary, don't underestimate her. Don't be friends with the Clintons either.
Well, her former aides don't have nice things to say about working for that lady.
Well, her former friends don't have anything to say. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. Speaking of being Clinton, yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Let's go. We're jumping back in, fam. Here we are.
Over how this revolution should go, whether they should break off entirely with the king and disagree. Time where a lot of work got done in what would be considered committee meetings today, but at the time were people drinking in taverns.
Delaying now will cost us everything.
And disagreeing over how this revolution should go, whether they should break off entirely with the king and the parliament, or whether they should try to persuade them to do better.
These were fights about whether our country should even exist, and if it did, what the soul of the nation should be about. Case in point, the Boston Massacre. I learned all about this when I was starting to re-engage with history in my early 20s, riding the bus into New York City to my job at Viacom. David McCullough's John Adams was a really important book for me. And the story of the Boston Massacre is a really important story about America itself and the importance of steel manning the arguments of those we oppose.
Yes.
A few years before Independence Day, in March of 1770, British soldiers fired into a crowd in Boston, killing...
This is actually a huge event in history. If you guys would like to become more familiar with it, there's an excellent miniseries made by HBO years ago called John Adams. It's about John Adams. It's about the formation of our country. It's incredible, and it's done very fair-mindedly. You know, what John is talking about, understanding the arguments of the other side, is indeed what John Adams pulls off, and it's actually a great series. Y'all should absolutely check it out if you want to understand more about how this country came together. Because it's not a perfect story. There's a lot of grittiness, but the intentionality of our forefathers, something special, even if they were imperfect humans themselves.
Oh, they were drunks at a bar.
Yeah, right. All right, so here we go, back into it.
5 civilians. The fire in Boston, killing 5 civilians.
Yeah, the British.
The firebrands of the revolution, Samuel Adams, Paul Revere, and others, were all over this, using it as an example of why we needed to break free of British rule.
Which was a radical
The soldiers,
idea.
of course, were absolutely despised, and a fair trial seemed impossible. But guess who came forward to defend them? None other than John Adams, one of America's founding fathers and a future president himself. In his defense of the soldiers, arguing they acted in self-defense, Adams said,
"Facts are stubborn things, and whatever may be our wishes, our inclinations, or the dictates of our passions, they cannot alter the state of facts and evidence."
6 of the soldiers and their commanding officer were acquitted. 2 were convicted of manslaughter. But you know what won? The principles of what would become America. The idea that fair trials matter, that mob justice wasn't justice at all, and that even an American patriot like Adams could still make a strong argument in defense of British soldiers accused of killing his fellow compatriots.
How that was spun afterward, and the way John Adams actually created more feeling for the cause by defending the soldiers who shot these citizens was absolutely brilliant.
It is both morally and rhetorically powerful to take the high ground, to prove to everyone that you are a fair, dispassionate person fighting for the truth, not just your tribe. That's what Adams did. That's why his defense of the indefensible bolstered the cause for American independence. After the revolution, after we became an independent nation, the philosophical battles only...
That's why his arguments for the cause following him actually defending those British soldiers was so compelling and so powerful, because he had proven that he stands for truth unequivocally, even if it's for a side with whom we have some serious problems. So that's what made it so powerful.
After the revolution, after we became an independent nation, the philosophical battles only continued in early America. Ironically, as if to embody how deeply difficult it is to remain a principled defender of free speech and debate, John Adams would, as president, tarnish his own reputation by signing the Alien and Sedition Acts of 1798, which made it a crime for American citizens to print, utter, or publish any false, scandalous, and malicious writing about the government. It's a good thing for our country that those acts were quickly defeated and repealed, and an even better thing that they weren't in effect when our founders were debating the future of the country in the Federalist Papers.
Oh, absolutely. The Federalist Papers were critical to the debate at the very, very highest level. Now, they were engaging with the elites. And so they were influencers influencing the influencers.
So, to refresh your memory, when America became independent, we really were more of a loosely bound group of states governed by something called the Articles of Confederation. After about 10 years, the articles were considered too weak to hold the young country together by a lot of national figures. Now, whether that was actually correct or not is a debate for another time. But in any case, the Founding Fathers held a convention in Philadelphia, the city of my birth, actually, and came up with the document we now know as the U.S. Constitution. Once it was written, though, it still had to be ratified by all the states. And thus, the public fight began in the Federalist Papers. These were articles written in colonial newspapers by people like Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and John Jay, arguing for the ratification of the Constitution. Not everyone was into this idea, of course, which is how the Anti-Federalist Papers were born. These were written by people like George Mason and Patrick Henry, who feared a powerful central government and opposed the Constitution on those grounds. So both sides of the argument were writing articles in newspapers making their case.
Unlike today, they only had to reach hundreds of people in order to influence things, because those people they were reaching were the most literate. Those people were the ones influencing the entire town.
Right out in the open, a debate over the Constitution was happening, with deeply reasoned, well-constructed arguments on both sides. Obviously, the Federalists won and the Constitution passed. But the process, the battle of ideas itself, was important, and the fight ended up making a difference in the end. One of the things the Anti-Federalists fought most passionately for was an explicit protection in the Constitution for individual rights.
Yes.
And they ended up getting it with the Bill of Rights, 10 amendments to the Constitution, the first of which included protection for debate itself. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble. The Bill of Rights was controversial at the time, and a big concession by the Federalists, who feared that enumerating such rights would suggest that the government might be free to do anything not explicitly prohibited. So the 10th Amendment did its best to leave no room for doubt. And it reads, "The power not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people." The rights we now hold dear as Americans were the direct result of rigorous public debate. And so a uniquely American compromise in favor of liberty was born. Those kind of things actually happened back then. Although, make no mistake, even from the beginning, political debate in America has always been far from civil.
Yeah, so this is how we compromise to calibrate. It takes time, it's hard, but we got to hash these ideas out and see which ones stand up after the battle of ideas.
Yeah. So the First Amendment, got the First Amendment, right? And that's not your right to go out there and be an asshole to everybody, and to go out in the streets and harass people and go out and assault cops and stuff.
Right.
It's your right to, first off, express your grievances towards your government, petition your government for change, and then if those don't work, then actually like really go out there and put human beings in the street and be like, no, like we have a problem.
Yeah.
But not, we're going to attack our fellow citizens to get our point across.
Not using violence to make your point.
Protester nowadays just
or
means
destroying small businesses, and rioting.
Or pulling over people and asking for their papers because they might be ICE, because you have some system of license plates that tell you who is ICE and who is not. That's happening right now. Who's the fascist now, commie?
Yeah. Yeah, really.
But
they can justify what they're doing because they're on the side of right.
And I can see the argument that some of the founding fathers had, saying like, okay, well, if you enumerate the rights that people have, then the government will say, okay, you have those rights, but everything else we can take.
Yeah.
So with the 10th Amendment, what that said is, look, if in the Constitution it says that the government, because the Constitution says the government can't do this, 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 and this. It's not. Yeah. It's not the people can do this, this, this. And no, it's the government can't do this. They can't do that. They can't do this. They can't do that.
Yep.
And then anything else we haven't talked about, the states are going to have to figure it out, and the localities are going to have to figure it out.
Exactly. Yeah.
We got a pretty good system, and everybody's saying the other side's destroying the Constitution, but
they suddenly care about the Constitution. It depends on which leftist you talk to, I guess.
No, when they're like, so and such side is destroying the Constitution.
Because a lot of them aren't pretending that they're not Marxists
Hold on,
anymore.
real quick. Next time you guys get in a conversation or an argument with one of your friends, you say, they're destroying the Constitution. Doesn't matter which side. Ask them for an example. Like, in what case are you talking about?
In which way? Yeah.
You know, like, which part of the Constitution are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then if they're like, well, I don't know, then you can work with them and be like, okay, well, let's look it out. Like, what do you think's happening? Oh, well, this thing's happening or whatever. And you're like, well, like, say with the ICE stuff, you know, it's like, well, legally speaking, in the Constitution, actually, we are allowed to enforce, like, getting rid of, you know, people who are not supposed to be here. Every other country in the world is allowed to do that too.
That's what every other country in the world does do. Yeah.
You know, that's
if you stay there too long on a work visa, you get kicked out.
You know, but then on the right wing side, you know, you could have like the constitutional infringements on what kind of firearms you can buy, or who can buy firearms, or
no illegal people on stolen land is such a crazy argument to me too.
It wasn't stolen; it was conquered. Get over it. That's human history.
Well, yeah, and
everybody's
also like
been conquered by
the
everybody
tribe that
else.
was conquered by some Europeans at some point,
Conquered
or
somebody else,
or some deal was made with. Were actually, had conquered someone else that lived there prior to them.
And that's everywhere. That's
the
everywhere.
whole planet.
That's everywhere in the world.
That's the whole planet. That's every single people on the planet have overthrown, taken over, stolen land from one another. It's,
hey man, that tall grass that grows in like the fields near where you're at, where they're not growing other stuff. Yeah, that probably conquered and took over from somewhere else and isn't a native grass, but that's how nature works, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, are we all going to move now? Or are we going to allow
the
Native Americans to live in our houses?
No. What you do is you, like, if you want a system that's better than conquer, you got to figure it out. And you got to debate, you got to talk, and you got to figure it out. And the Constitution.
If you want to come up with a better system that makes this one obsolete, go for it. Let's see if someone can pull it off. That would be awesome, because this system ain't perfect, but it's the best one that humans have come up with yet. But if you can come up with something better and put it in place and it makes this one obsolete, great. Just don't tear the existing system down before you actually have the scaffolding of that new system already up and ready to go, because you're just going to cause mass chaos and millions of deaths, as we saw in the 20th century. Every time people had this idea of superior planning in their minds, superior governance system to what's presently enacted, they end up just causing mass genocide.
So NinjaBet has a comment here, and it's from the part of the video about, you know, some of the guys getting off and the others being convicted of manslaughter. He says the king would have exonerated his soldiers completely. Well, little thing is, the king probably wasn't aware of most of this stuff. And the problem wasn't with the king, it was with the parliament.
Oh, yeah.
Because the parliament wasn't allowing representation of the American colonies. And the king couldn't have been bothered. Just like, you know, the king now in England couldn't be bothered with stuff. The queen couldn't be bothered with stuff. Or if they could be bothered, they didn't have the power.
Yeah.
The parliament ran everything. That's the thing.
Yeah.
We weren't actually fighting the king. We were fighting the parliament.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why we're not a parliamentary democracy. We're a constitutional republic.
Yep.
That tries to spread parliamentary democracies around the world.
That
never work out and create terrorists.
Yeah, right. yeah. Well, the crony got into the capitalism. That's the problem, is the corruption of man. It's every system becomes corrupt. It doesn't matter what kind of system, because humans become corrupt. That's why we're all about changing the world from the inside out and trying to bring back some kind of moral standing for ourselves as men and women to live up to, because we've lost it. We've chopped out our moral systems underneath our feet, and we don't believe in them at all anymore, because we disprove the idea of the judgmental sky daddy. Doesn't mean that you've disproved the idea of the absolute, but that's a whole other conversation. Doesn't mean God ain't real, fam.
We should go on to the good news roundup.
I think so, man. Yeah, it's about that time, guys.
And I'm still not used to my new waking and going to sleep schedule.
Man, I'm in the middle of I just started a 3-day fast. If you guys are interested in learning about fasting, I could maybe give you a little bit of insight. I'm learning how to do a sardine fast right now, which allows you to stay in a high state of autophagy, but you still are getting enough omega-3s to keep your brain functional and enough protein to actually not have much muscle depreciation, but you still get the fast effect out. So beautiful, powerful way to do. Yeah. Sardines, though, you want small, tiny fish that have short lifespans, because they're not collecting a bunch of heavy metals, and then you're safe to eat them.
That, and also sardines.
Chock full of nutrients, too.
Sardines have a lot of oils in them.
A lot of fat. Yeah. A lot of good, healthy fats, calcium and zinc and all kinds of good stuff.
Sardines and anchovies, man. I love them.
Really good food.
I like mackerel, too.
I had some mackerel and sardines on the side today.
Yeah, the fishiest of the fish. Bring it. Hey, man. Jesus' symbol was the fish, man. And, like, You should eat fish on Friday, man. You know,
I'm trying to do a complete gut reset because I'm immunocompromised, have all these issues. But as long as I'm on top of my health, man, it's amazing. It brightens your life up. I feel actually better than I felt in a long, long time. And I'm going to take it to another level with this fast, guys. I'm excited. So here, good
so
news
we're gonna
roundup,
end it
man.
quick because
There's enough bad news in this world. We try and do a good news roundup every single episode of Meaning Making 101.
Is this the young hero?
We'll get to that one after
Okay,
this one. Actually, this one's really cool though. This is
Space.
reminds us of how small our little planet is. So the NASA, the new Webb telescope, pushing the boundaries of the observable universe closer to the Big Bang than ever before. It's topped itself once again, delivering the confirmation of a bright galaxy that existed a mere 280 million years after the Big Bang, so close to the beginning of the universe as we understand it. A galaxy 300 million years after the event of the Big Bang. And scientists are now certain that James Webb will break every such record until the earliest observable light is eventually detected. Oh my gosh. The newest confirmed galaxy, MOM Z14, holds intriguing clues to the universe's historical timeline and just how different a place the early universe was than astronomers expected. With Webb, we are able to see farther than humans ever have before, and it looks nothing like what we predicted. Yeah, they were not expecting galaxy formation to happen this early in the universe's timeline. It doesn't make sense to us. We're still trying to figure out how it's even happening.
It's an ongoing debate.
Yeah, it's really cool. So both challenging and exciting, says Rohan Naidu of MIT's Kavli Institute for Astrophysics and Space Research, blah, blah, blah. Due to the expansion of the universe that is driven by dark energy, supposedly, discussion of physical distances and years ago becomes tricky when looking this far. This is just going to get technical now, guys, but it's friggin' exciting.
So
This
what
is
was
so
it,
cool to me.
200
I love space.
250, 230 million years after the Big Bang, which means that we're like 250 million years away from the edge of the observable universe.
Nuts.
So we're almost at the point where we can see the edge of our observable universe, which is like 14.3 billion years or whatever they're saying it is.
I wonder if that galaxy is even around anymore, you know?
Oh, yeah, no, probably not. It's probably like a combination.
Is that star going through heat death as we speak?
Well, that galaxy has probably either been like impacted or absorbed by other galaxies, or like because right now actually the Milky Way is being impacted by the Andromeda.
Oh yeah,
or it's on the other end
slowly but surely.
So
here's the one that DJ was just talking about. 13-year-old ditches life jacket and makes superhuman swim to save family swept out to sea. A 13-year-old boy has been hailed as a hero after swimming 4 hours through rough seas to rescue his family. Oh my God. A family of 4 was enjoying a holiday on Australia's southwest coast near Quindalup when strong winds blew their inflatable paddle boards out to sea. Oh crap. The boy was separated from his mom and 2 siblings before his canoe began to take on water. Wearing a life jacket, he began to swim against the wind towards the shore, knowing every second counted in the race to help save his family. Oh my God. Okay, Commander Paul Breslin with the volunteer organization Cape Naturaliste Marine Rescue told ABC News that the boy swam for 2 hours with his life jacket on. That's insane, dude. And the brave fella thought he was not going to make it with the life jacket on, so he ditched it, and he swam the next 2 hours without a life jacket. I thought, mate, that is incredible. That is incredible. Once ashore, he successfully raised the alarm and a multi-agency search and rescue operation was mobilized, including Western Australia's State Water Police and its rescue helicopter. The team provided detailed descriptions of the paddleboards, and within an hour, his family was rescued. Having drifted 7 miles out into the Indian Ocean, they were not making it back alive if he hadn't done that.
Yeah, and so he did a leap of faith too, where it's like the thing the thing that was supposed to save him,
put his life on the line.
Well, the thing that was supposed to save him, that life jacket, he realized was the thing that was going to kill him and kill his family. So he had to think, do something brave, remove it, and then do something hard.
Incredibly brave and hard, yeah.
And and keep going. And it's like,
dude, I'm impressed, man.
2 miles?
2 miles.
Swim 200 yards.
He swam for 4 hours to save his family. Dude. 2 hours with the life jacket, 2 hours without it.
All right, little man. You're a hero.
You're a hero, man, for the rest of your life, dude.
As long as you don't do something really, really, really bad, you're guaranteed to go to heaven.
You've done good. Yeah, really, man. This kid's earned.
Well, I can't say that, but I would assume so.
At least a couple lifetimes of good karma, I think, man.
Yeah. All right.
Dude, ABC reported that the family were assessed at a local hospital, quickly discharged before taking the time to visit the rescue organization to thank them in person. Southwest Police Inspector. I mean, this is why a lot of people become police too and become first responders.
Yeah, they want to help, man.
They want to help, and they're willing to put their lives on the line and get involved in some pretty dangerous work sometimes.
Actually, a lot of the activist types that go out to protest and wreak havoc too, like they have that same tendency. They want to do the good thing.
They do.
They were just programmed, or they allowed themselves to be programmed down a.
See, you're doing the thing now.
Yeah, I know. Hey,
but that's good. We got to understand people's value orientations. Remember, these are humans. These are fellow humans. Even if we've been lied to, even if we have been persuaded in some direction that is actually not good, it happens to the best of us, man. We got to be more forgiving of one another and just invite each other to come back home and take on this posture of trying to figure things out together instead of being so damn certain all the time. This is a beautiful story, man.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Well, good on you, little dude.
Yeah. Great job, man.
That's
so. Let's do one more. We'll round it out and make it an hour. So here we are, guys. This is really cool too. Man, we've gone cosmic, and now we've gone to the
deep in the earth,
earliest example of human rock art. This is like over 10,000 years older than anything else we've ever found. This is astonishing. At 67,800 years old, these handprints just discovered in Indonesia are the oldest examples of human rock art. The discovery of stylized handprints dating back to at least 67,800 years in a limestone cave in Indonesia has broken the country's own record for the world's oldest known example of rock art. It provides direct evidence that humans have been crossing the sea intentionally for nearly 70,000 years.
So,
what? As men traveled from the Asian continent across Australia to the land down under and beyond. Wow.
Humans are old, man. And
dude, we're a lot smarter than we give ourselves. We had the same brain up to 200,000 years ago.
Or more.
We didn't have all this amassed knowledge and technology. Well, we had the same level of mental acuity.
We could have been quite civilized and quite advanced, and
I think we were.
And got hit by
in some ways
by a really big rock.
Even if only culturally sophisticated and advanced, maybe musically or artistically in some ways. I think we did probably have some really beautiful ideas and ways of living even back then.
And if the Earth has like an every 12,000 years or so, like hard reset cycle.
Oh, the plasma, man. I just saw Ninja Bat bring up.
Yeah.
Is that from the crazy lightning storms our planet used to get?
Yeah.
Is
well,
that what you're talking about?
Lightning can create it. Then you can create it with plasma. And then it's also a symbol that like one of the global symbols that you see.
Like the standing guy with his hands up like that. Because apparently lightning, there can be lightning storms where you see that.
Yeah.
Like we haven't seen these lightning storms in our living.
But it's good that we're finding this stuff too, because like humans are always trying to figure out like where we came from.
Solar output.
That's a story as old as time, right? And the further we can go back, well, actually, literally, when we're looking into space, we're going back to closer to the beginning of the universe.
Yeah.
And once we can see the edge of our visible universe, if we don't see something that's like the Big Bang there, we're going to have to completely change our ideas of how the universe began.
Yeah.
Or didn't.
Yeah. Well, they're already facing that quandary. That could already be a potential because this first earliest universe is happening way earlier in the universe than we ever would have expected. The galaxy formation, we thought, took a lot longer.
On the other end, we're looking into the Earth to find the earliest roots of our civilization, which is challenging our beliefs
to know ourselves and our place
came from.
Because
we
still don't know why the hell we're here. What the hell we're doing? What is the universe?
I don't think we'll ever figure that out. I think that's you're gonna have to have like God brain.
I think it's always going to be a great mystery.
That out.
And except perhaps at the end of our lives when we congeal back into that great source. The nothingness that the atheists believe is the source of the universe. It's amazing. It's an amazing idea.
Well, so not to be nihilistic, but nothing, the no thing. A no thing has infinite potential because it hasn't been assigned thing yet. And God is a no thing because God comes before thingness.
That God doesn't need to be created because God is transcendent. He's omnipresent. He always has been. He always will be.
Well, it's beyond thing. The universe
is beyond thing.
The universe is
He's the source of
things.
thingness.
Yeah,
space
the source
and
of thingness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you ever...
because think of something like a void that is so perfectly empty that it has room for everything. It has room for all the potential of creation to burst forth within it. So I think God is both of that. He's the constant blossoming of all potentiality, and he's that perfect space of voidness that allows that potentiality to be in the first place. So God is yin yang all the way up and down.
And
He's
then the no
pure paradox.
the no thing that makes thingness actually be able to be on top of all that infinitely, right?
Right.
Because once you, like, if humans ever come to the point where we can experience all the thingness of the universe, there will still be more thingness.
Oh yeah,
and more universe, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
we can talk about.
We're
that
not able
thingness.
to like, and this is
We
where
can create new things out of that thingness.
Yeah, and this is where the argument about, like, where do humanity and religion and all this stuff comes from, our inability to see past thingness because we exist in a completely thingness world.
Right.
Whereas the idea of something that's ultimately outside of thingness, no matter how much thingness you can get through, you'll never get to the not thingness.
No, yeah, it's like a
but the
singularity.
beautiful thing
It's
is
like
trying to get to that thingness and be with it as well. And it's
it gives us infinite room to grow and to commune with it. And will never be done because it is a singularity. It's like approaching the center of a black hole. There's always, the closer you get to the center of a black hole, the more information is coming out at you. So I think of God that way.
Real quick.
Yeah, what's up, King Master T? All good, man. Oh, that's weird that you didn't get the notification. Make sure it's on. It could just be some YouTube.
So YouTube,
crap,
I haven't gotten 10 pull notifications in years.
Yeah, it happens to a lot of my favorite channons.
And then AK Roberts 88, yes.
Yeah, God for the win, brother. Amen.
We see you, AK Robert 88. He is.
Oh yes, what's up, AK Robert? Yes, sir.
He is inevitable, honestly, and to have this is special. Yes, inevitable too, because ultimately we will go back to thingness. Don't, like, to kind of quote Krishnamurti is, I'm going to say it like this, is all I don't know what's going to happen after death, but all I do know is that this thingness will no longer be thingness.
Yep.
Right. And that's probably, if you want to remove spirituality and religion, Christianity out of that, you will no longer be thingness. Therefore, you are closer to God, which is not of thingness.
Beyond thingness.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I like that word, thingness.
Yeah. Materialists have a lot of trouble with that one, I've noticed. But that's okay, because it's inevitable, We're all going to meet him.
Alrighty.
One day.
Well, I'm turning into a pumpkin.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us for this episode of Meaning Making 101, where we try to make sense of this world together. That's what we are inviting you guys to take part in with us. We don't think that we're some wise teachers on high. We know that we need as many minds working on this simultaneously as we can possibly get, guys, so we can change this world from the inside out by being that change to wish to see. That's the name of the game here. Make sure you get out there and you like and subscribe. Everyone that we're supporting here, such as Dad Saves America, throw them our way too if you appreciate what's happening. Throw down those comments and share with your friends and family, guys. Trying to make a difference out here in what little way that we can ourselves, and everything butterflies out so you guys can do the same. Love y'all. That's my spiel. I'm done.
No, I've been DJ.
I've been Chris. We will see you guys next time to continue our coverage of Dad Saves America Death of Debate series. Looking forward to what happens on the rest of part 3 here, guys. So we'll see you next time. 7 p. EST. Everywhere podcasts are found after the fact. We're on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, X, Rumble, after the live stream. Every week, we're also on Spotify, Apple, Google, everywhere podcasts are found, guys. Let's do this thing. Let's spread love out into the universe. Be that change we wish to see. Change the game from the inside out.
Yeah.
See you guys next time.
Peace.
Peace out.